Welcome back to this video. In this video we're going to be talking about the 10 penny stocks to watch for this week, June 19. So these are the 10 stocks which we are going to shortly be looking at in our software. And again, what we need to be aware of is that when they tell us that last week's gain was already 422% or even 43%, that is a huge number when it comes to actually to a move that a penny stock actually makes, or any stock for that matter. So that's just one thing that we have to be concerned about when it comes to trading penny stocks. So we're going to have a look now and see if we can actually find these stocks and see what they look like in terms of a chart pattern. So let's have a look at the first stock chart, which is NBY. So as we can see, last week the stock had a massive run up, and again we can see that to try and make money on a stock like that that's already been up, we'd have to wait until it breaks certain levels. In terms of the 3-day charts, this NovaBay Pharmaceuticals, I mean, we can see in terms of a long-term chart that once upon a time this stock was at $110, and now it's just a penny stock and it's hovering around. So what we can actually see here is that this stock even went below its previous lows, and that could be one of the reasons that this stock had a massive run up, because it had reached such a low that traders try to move it up. So I mean, in terms of a 3-day chart, we are below the 200-day, below the 50-day moving average. It is possible that this chart of the stock could be going higher. It's possible that we could actually see that this chart of the stock goes higher, but right now this stock, even on a 1-hour chart, it doesn't look too bad on a 1-hour chart. We'd have to see what it does here in terms of this triangle. What about a 15-minute chart? See, it's pretty choppy. I usually don't go less than a daily on a daily, but if you wanted to catch this move, you'd really have to be trading on an intraday, because the intraday chart here, you can see, made a massive move. I don't like looking at charts in terms of an intraday move. They just don't interest me really that much. Intraday charts, I don't want to be sitting in front of my computer. So in terms of, is this a good buy right now? I'm not too sure if, in fact, I wouldn't be looking at that chart right now. Next one, Vuzix Corporation, which is VUZI. Let's have a look at that one. Vuzix Corporation. Now this doesn't look too bad on a daily chart. This chart, it's actually looking not too bad. Let's have a look at it on a 3-day. Yeah, that's actually not looking too bad, to be honest. We've got a strong candle there. We've got money stream moving up. We've got MACD moving up. The only thing is volume seems to have gone back down. Yeah, average volume is roughly about 1.4 million. Actually, that's not a bad stock. That is a stock that let's have a look at it on the half an hour. Yeah, that's actually not too bad. Money stream still going up on the 1 hour. We've got MACD histograms going up. Volumes tapered off here because, as you can see here, this is actually could look like a cup and saucer pattern, or cup and handle pattern. So we'll just have to wait. But actually, that's not too bad. I mean, if you got into this on the 10th, that wasn't a bad move. That's a 73% move on a 2-day chart. So I mean, if you do see a move like this and you've got alerts for your intraday charting, that's not too bad. Even on a daily chart, it's actually looking pretty good. And moving averages coming up. The thing is, you could tighten the moving averages, have a shorter moving average here. So actually, this is not a bad looking stock right now. And I think if we go back on a weekly chart, on a weekly, it's looking pretty good as well. As you can see, that this stock really, major resistance is about $9.39. So actually, on a weekly chart, not too bad. On a daily chart, it's actually looking pretty good. If you did want to enter into the stock and you thought that it was going higher, you could just put your stop loss a little bit below there, or below that candle there. And that's actually not a bad chart. So far, the last 2 days, Vuzix Corporation has actually probably been the best chart that we've come across in terms of looking at the articles. In terms of going short here, if you had gone short here, any one of these points here, as the stock was closing below the 200-day moving average, you could have actually profited from the stock. So that would have been pretty good. You could have shorted it there, and you could have ridden it down all the way from the time that it crossed this 50-day moving average. In fact, that's a really good candle pattern there. That's a evening star pattern that we see actually forming there, and we can see that we've got a bullish candle, then we've got a spinning top, and then we've got a bearish engulfing, and from over there we've gone below the moving averages. So that's actually not a bad stock to have gotten into to sell short, but even now it's not looking too bad in terms of where the stock is right now in terms of going long. So that's pretty good. Vuzix. Now we go to Histogenics. Let's just copy that. We see a lot of this stock looks like it's bottoming out. This might be one to watch, but as of right now, I don't see any buy patterns. We're on a spinning top here in terms of a 50-day moving average. Let's look at it on a weekly chart. The stock, the downtrend is down, so this isn't a stock that I want to trade in terms of HSGX. It's not a chart from the weekly. This could be a bottom here. No doubt about it, and we could see here that clearly this is probably a bottom. We've got a slight angle upwards in terms of the stock chart moving higher. We do have a resistance here at 37, 36. This isn't a price pattern that I like. It is possible that this is going to go higher, but it's something that I'd want to look at a later date. Right now, I wouldn't be getting involved in this stock. Let's have a look at the stock chart. National American University Holdings, so we don't get anything there. Let's have a look. On a daily chart, this stock looks absolutely flat. It could just be my data feed on this one. But in terms of going long, I don't know, this seems to be a data feed issue. I'm going to skip this National Amber University Holdings, so we'll go on to the next one. HCR, High Crush Inc. Not a bad looking stock. I do like the fact that we are touching the 50-day moving average. In terms of, you can see that this stock overall is in a downtrend. On a much longer term chart, we can clearly see that this is in a downtrend, and we're now looking at a weekly chart. If we had gone short here, this would have been a really good time to actually have gone short over there. 229% in 2 months, which is really good. I like those patterns. That when you see that, when you want to go short. In terms of going long, if we can break, depends what sort of investor you are. If you're more of the long-term investor, you could enter the stock at a lower level here. This looks good. We've got MACD coming up, we've got money stream moving up, we've got more positive volume coming into the stock. Volume is at about 1.3 million, so there is liquidity in this actual stock. I do actually, this isn't a bad looking pattern. I actually do like this because it looks like a V bottom. It's not a perfect V bottom, but I do like this stock, the way that it's moving up. It would be one to watch. If you wanted to enter the actual stock, it's also optionable as well. Major resistance is about 473, so you've got about $1.47 in terms of resistance. So actually I do like this one. I would like to, on the hourly chart, you know, if you want to put your stop loss at a few cents below that, that's one way to do it. I would really like to see this stock close higher than the 50-day moving average, because oftentimes the stock will hit the 50, bounce back, and then go south again. So if you wanted to take a chance, you could always put your stop loss slightly below that and wait for it to rise up. Next stock, CETX. Symmetrics, industrial pollution. Yep, not a bad looking stock in terms of its daily. Just this might have just been a one-off spike. It seems like it's maybe bottomed out. What we just have to watch is, if you do want to get into this chart, I mean, we do see MACD moving up here stronger. That would have been a good play to get in over there with high money stream and a surge in actual buying patterns. The other thing is you need to make sure and see what's actually going on with their stock by looking at the actual fundamentals. Have they been bought out? Are they talking about new contracts which they've got? So overall, actually, that's not looking too bad. It has been up a few days in a row. So that's just something to keep in mind, is that stocks don't always keep on going up. So you could find a short-term pullback before it keeps on going up. But actually, that's not too bad in terms of actually looking at the actual stock chart. Next chart, AEZS, Eterna Zenitaris. Let's have a look at this one. This is on a daily chart that I'm looking at, so I usually like to first look at a weekly chart. As you can see, I mean, at one stage the stock was at $7,000. It's now down to $2.91. So in terms of a daily chart, that's not a bad pattern, because if it can hold there in terms of a support, and it can break out and get past the 200-day and the 50-day, and it has bounced off of itself. I usually throw in a 500-day moving average, because if a stock really breaks down below the 500-day moving average, I just know that that stock is going to get hammered. So I would just, in terms of waiting, I just want to make sure that this stock here doesn't break below there, and we're looking at if the stock here can break above that point there. So if it can break above that point, then that would be a pretty good buy to get into. And that's for Eterna Zenitaris Inc. new, and that's of today's date, which is the 20th of June. SEII, which is Sharing Economy International. This stock, I don't know if this is again a data feed issue, but this stock looks like it's bottomed out here and it's been going sideways at 66 cents. So I really don't know what's going on with this stock. It seems flat. Yeah, it's not a stock that I would just look. I don't particularly like the price pattern. It could just be that this is my chart. There's some problem or something wrong with this. So as of now, I wouldn't go with this stock. And besides, I don't like when a stock, you know, goes crazy like this. So that's not the stock chart that I would be looking at right now. MOXC. Let's have a look at that. Moxian Inc. Not a bad looking stock. It has been up a few days. It has crossed the 50-day. It's crossed the 200, which I like. So actually, I do like the stock. We've got major resistance here at about 498, and then the next resistance is all the way up at 20. So you know, even if we said 1274, this is actually a really nice looking stock. I do like the fact that we've got all these up days. Okay, we had a little bit of a week there, which is normal when you hit a 200-day moving average. Money stream's looking good. positive volume. Now the only thing is here with volume, on average we have about anywhere from 100 to 280,000 shares per day traded. I generally like to look at stocks that are trading at about 250 shares per day. So that's only one thing that I would say about the stock, is that yes, it has moved up. It's really good. It's about halfway through to the actual resistance. It looks like it could get there. We should possibly expect a slight pullback for investors pulling their money off the markets, you know, off the table. But yeah, that's actually not a bad stock. That doesn't look too bad. NDRA. We just want to make sure we've got the right one. Indra Life Sciences. Also not too bad. We always want to look at a much longer term chart. It's been at high 573. It is at a low point right now. On the daily chart, that could be a small triangle, it could be a wedge. So what I usually do with these stocks, especially with the stock right now, is that we find that we've got a bit of a support and resistance here. I would like to see that stock move either above it or below it if you're going to sell it short. Resistance would be around about the 350 mark. So if we break out there, we do have a bit of a run there in terms of it going lower. This would be your support right about here, and if you really want to get technical, you could put it just by this mark. So if it goes below this, we know that we are making new lows. But overall, that's not a bad looking stock. We'd just have to wait to see, you know, a breakout there. Then we could expect the stock to come and once it's broken through the resistance, come back and form support, and vice versa. So next stock. Alright, so that's it for these 10 stocks for June to keep an eye out on. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to sign up, you can sign up on the website, and you can sign up for the free penny stock newsletter alerts, and you can get in on a lot of these stocks. We give alerts out, you know, when I come across a good pick during the week, like if it's a selling short position like this, where the stock moves 136% in 26 days. These are the stocks which we find. Most of the stocks which you'll find on Penny Stock Blueprint, you'll find that I usually pull these from the news. The stocks that I recommend in terms of looking good on a technical pattern, they're not from the news. These are stocks, for example, that are moving way before most people hear about them. Most people will only get in on a stock, you know, the stock would only make the news once it's reached that level there. We would give them when they start breaking the 50, we would get a spike up in a money stream. We have MACD moving up, and we usually have that. So these are the charts that we're looking at, and yeah, so these are the penny stock picks that we offer, and we provide on a weekly basis. So if you sign up to the actual site, you can actually get in on these picks. And that's it for this video, and we'll see you on the next one.